I tried to run. I tried to hide. But no matter how far I could go, I realized there was really no escaping it. Yeah. To say that I easily dismissed Little Big Planet to be a little kiddie game that I couldn't get into is a bit of an understatement. So Little Big Planet opens with a narrator telling about the adventures of a Sackboy. And as you play as a Sackboy, you eventually meet other characters and help them with some of the difficulties that they go through, such as a bride looking for her lost husband, or a cowboy that has gone the range and he wants to blow up the entire canyon with dynamite. I mean, there is one part of the story where the collector is stealing all the parts of Little Big Planet and keeping it to himself, and you need to traverse through the different worlds in order to train up to face him. Almost like a coming of age story. But other than that, this doesn't play too much of a major part in the game. In one sense, I may even go to the point to say that Little Big Planet doesn't really have too much of a plot. It's really kind of left in the hands of the player. And the character of Sackboy doesn't really have much of a personality. It makes it feel like that whenever you're affecting different characters' stories, as if you're the one who's affecting the story. However, the whole presentation of the game proves to be Little Big Planet's biggest strength. I liked how each of the levels felt like they took place inside of like a toy box, and they felt like something that you'd find in like an arts and crafts store. You'll have objects to hang on to, like little styrofoam balls, and many of the enemies seem to look like little toys crafted by children. So overall, I felt like this really adds more to the charm of Little Big Planet, and actually made me want to keep playing more and more of the game. Little Big Planet's gameplay is very linear in how it presents this level design. However, there are some secret areas for you to find out along the way, and there are some places where if you put certain stickers on it, then you can earn different collectibles. So what I like about level designs like this, even though it's two-dimensional, there still is some sense of exploration that you can do. Sometimes there are secret areas where you can access to gain a certain collectible, and other times, if you interact with a certain item in the level, you will get another collectible for your sticker collection. And it's these kinds of level designs that even though it's 2D, it is sort of deceptively open-ended despite the fact that it's linear. However, all that being said, there are a lot of problems with Little Big Planet. One of such is the jumping mechanic. Honestly, for some reason, Sackboy's jumping felt very floaty, and most of the times I felt like I was falling into pits because I had misjudged to jump. Also, I noticed that he seems to slip a little bit every time he lands, which shows how sensitive the physics engine is. Seriously, messing up the jumping in a platformer is like messing up the shooting in Call of Duty. If you fail too many times, you will be forced to go all the way back to the beginning of the level. And this is what Little Big Planet has a live system. Now, a live system can be good in Little Big Planet because there are multiple checkpoints. However, usually ends up being a bit of a nuisance Because if there's a part that you get stuck on, then if you die several times, you'll be sent all the way back to the beginning of the level, having to retry all those parts that you were able to get through easily the first time is a bit annoying. You know what Little Big Planet reminds me of? It reminds me of a good old chocolate sundae ice cream. For while it lasts, it actually is a very well-to-do platformer. However, it just lasts a little too short. I mean, yeah, the big idea of Little Big Planet was the whole level creation and having the ability to make your own level and design them, which I played around for a little bit. However, the story mode just feels like something that feels tacked on. And Little Big Planet, the concept behind it is just so simple, and yet I still love it. The simplicity of the platforming and the worlds that you explore and making it feel like you're inside of a toy box. I can't help but feel that this game is truly something special. And with all this talk of the world going to shit and everything just feeling like it's dying in 2020, Little Big Planet brings me back to a simpler time. It almost reminds me that I tend to miss things in the simplicity and the complexity of life. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it really does have a charm at the end of the day that makes it hard to let go. I mean, yeah, it has its fair share of flaws, undeniably. However, despite those flaws, it's still something that I can see going back to and picking up again after having a bad day. I mean, growing up, I wasn't really a very popular person, and most people didn't like me, and it was a very lonely existence for me. So, in some ways, Little Big Planet kind of reminds me of how I can escape from those destructive years and help me to build something new in one sense. Find a world that is different from the one that I live right now. A world that doesn't require me to be something that I'm not. And maybe that's what all of us need. Maybe we need something to remind us that we don't always have to stay stuck here on this world. That there is an escape. That there is somewhere else that we can turn to if we are ever feeling distraught or down in the dumps. And that's what Little Big Planet feels like it gives to me. Or at least, it's the closest thing that it provides for me. Something to fill the empty casket within. Thanks for watching.